We're here to protest Israel's whitewashing of crimes. A lot of people use this, excuse my language, shitty excuse that you can't mix art and politics together.
Art is politics.
It is. It is, especially in the state of Palestine, and especially what Palestinians are going through.
That's right.
You can't, art and politics are mixed, and especially in this situation. Batsheva, the dance company, was formulated back in, well, it is part of a campaign called Brand Israel. Brand Israel was created in 2005 because people started to realize what Israel really is. Okay? People started to boycott Israel. And the same tactics that were used in South Africa, people are boycotting the state of Israel for what they do to Palestinians. So we're here today to not be fooled by the whitewashing of these crimes. Remember, the Foreign Ministry of Israel brings these people out here to give Israel a prettier face. I'm trying not to swear. Because these people go to a country, our land, where my grandfather and my father was a refugee. They were kicked out of their land, and these people could go freely, they could dance freely, but while my people go through checkpoints, while my people face racism, while my people are second-class citizens because they were born Arab, because they didn't come from Europe. My people are treated like crap. The native people of Palestine are treated like crap. The native people of Jerusalem are treated like crap. Okay? And we're here to show that we are not falling for this cute little dance troupe's whitewashing of our crimes. That's why they're out here. They're out here to give this pretty face of Israel, but it's not a pretty face. They're trying to cover it up. Arts and politics is mixed. It's mixed. And we need to realize that. Okay? Palestinian performers are stopped at checkpoints. Palestinian performers are shot. Even in the sports world, Palestinian soccer players are shot by Israeli soldiers. Palestinian performers, Palestinian artists don't have the freedom to go around like these people do. We don't. And why? Because we're Arab. We don't have that freedom. We don't have that freedom. We don't have that freedom, and we need to remember that. So these people are upset that we're protesting, and they're going and sticking in their finger at us in their fur coats and everything. I saw a lot of fur coats today. And a lot of nasty smelling perfume. But anyways, they're going in there paying these, big money tickets to fund our occupation, to fund apartheid in Palestine, to fund discrimination against our people. All right? So remember, Palestinian performers do not have the privilege like those guys do. We don't have that privilege. We don't have that privilege to go out and perform. We don't have that privilege to have our people pay $75 a ticket and go straight to our state. We're questioned if any money goes to our country. We are questioned for any money that goes to our people. So we need to remember, this is whitewashing. And if anybody tells you art and politics don't mix, they mix right here. They mix everywhere. So remember, Batsheva is the face of Israel. Batsheva is the face of occupation. Batsheva is the face of apartheid. We need to remember that. So don't feel bad. Let's rain on their parade, and I don't give a damn if we rained on their parade. Let them talk to their children. I saw some little kids go out in there. Let them talk to their children. Let them look their kids in the face and tell them what they're doing and justify it. All right. We got a program. We got a program. So, my name... Oh, Brad Schneider was here. Brad Schneider, may I mind you, was running for Congress. Brad Schneider came to the Muslim and Arab communities. Brad Schneider tried to shake hands with our youth, asking for our vote.
That ain't right.
That ain't right. I called him out on it. I bet we all called him out on it.
Yeah, you did.
We called him out on it. I saw his face. I remember his face because his face was begging our community for his vote. He's begging our community for his vote, but yet he's going in there and supporting a group funded by the Israeli Foreign Ministry. All right? And also, if you research Brad Schneider, he just doesn't have a great stance on Palestine. but he has came to our community and asked for our votes. So let's remember his face and let's publicize that this man had the audacity to go to Arabs and Muslim communities and ask for our vote. So let's remind our community that he was here and what he was supporting. So we need to go and remind our community members that. Don't come to our mosques, don't come to our community centers, don't even smile at us, because we know that you are.
Yes!
I'm assuming our ballerina mayor is here.
Who?
Our ballerina mayor. Maybe mayor. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. He has to speak in the back way.
You can see him?
All right.
But he's always like this.
So we have a program to get to. This protest, again, my name is Nisri and I'm representing the United States Palestinian Community Network. We have Leila Abdelrazak from the Free People's Art Collective. For the People Art Collective, for the People's Art FTP. All right. We have people from JVP here. We have SJP students here. Let's give it up. And we have a program here today. So again, I'm going to start things off. We're here. We brought our community together. I just want to remind folks that every time Batsheva performs, we're out here. The Palestinian Solidarity folks, the Palestinians, our friends, our allies are out here to give them help. We give them help to let them know that this is not cool. This is not okay. And, you know, many times they have to switch the theater to avoid us. They did. They're at this theater because they didn't want to go to the theater they were at last time, and they wanted to avoid us. So,
got him.
So again, remember, respect the boycott. Anytime a Palestinian or the Palestinian community says don't go out to this performance, please respect that, and it really matters a lot. So my first speaker is Huda Katabi from FTP. Please give it up for Huda.
Happy birthday!
Oh my God!
Happy birthday! Happy birthday to you!
Thank you! I would not want to celebrate my birthday any other way. It actually is my birthday. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm with the For the People Artists Collective. We're a radical collective of black and brown people here in the city of Chicago. And we are very, very much against Israeli apartheid, as people who fight for human rights here, as people who know the interconnectedness of white supremacy here. We know that as Muslims,
Free Palestine!
yes, free Palestine. As people who actively fight against police in the city, we know that police are also trained by the Israeli Defense Forces. So we know this is connected. As people, many of us are Muslim. As Muslims, we know that Zionists actively fund anti-Muslim propaganda in the United States constantly. We know that Trump, who all of us also hate, yes, the day after he was elected, Netanyahu came out and congratulated him. Yes. Netanyahu came out and congratulated him. We know all of these things are connected, but we also know as artists, all art is political. All public art is political. You are either creating art that is challenging the status quo, or you are silent, and you're complicit. And if you're not, and if you have the privilege of being able to be silent. And so right now, this dance company has the privilege of not being able to comment on something that they're contributing to, they're profiting off of. They're literally profiting off of the fact that Palestinians cannot create art and culture, and we're against it. Because we, of course, stand for human rights. We understand the interconnectedness of white supremacy, which we're actively challenging here, and will continue to challenge abroad. Thank you. Okay, the next person I'm having up is Debbie Southern from AFSC. And then right after that is Neil from the Anti-War Movement. Give it up for Debbie.
Yeah, Debbie!
No, you can't pull it.
You gotta step closer. All right, Debbie, you're done.
No, I got it.
Oh, thank you. And so I'll keep this. Now I turn it off.
Hold on. Go ahead.
Alright.
I'm here with the American Fencers Committee in Chicago, where for a long time we've fully and unapologetically supported the Palestinian call for boycott, divestment, and sanctions of Israel and Israeli institutions. And tonight is part of the cultural boycott. It's super important work. Just really want to show up and support for the People Artists Collective, USPCN, everybody else who worked on this. We know that art matters. We know that art is, especially thinking about today and the most recent executive order that Trump signed, right, and what it's going to take to push back against all of this. We know that, like, art is how we, like, conceive of liberation and how we conceive of the world that we actually want, which is why it's even more important that we contest these sites that try to whitewash. We are here to just say no to Batsheva.
No!
Dancers have to take a stand, no excuse for stolen land!
Dancers have to take a stand, no excuse for stolen land!
Alright, so I'm going to introduce a veteran in the anti-war movement. He's here to speak, Neil.
Just briefly, the stolen land. Don't forget, the British Empire led to the stolen land and it's backed by the U.S. The U.S. imperialist empire with big money, and we should, as living here in the U.S., should demand that the U.S. get the hell out of the Middle East and refuse to let our money go to support this racist apartheid state.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we have Layla Abdurrazzaq from FTP, and she's also because we're not only holding Batsheva accountable, we're not only holding the state of Israel accountable, we're not only holding those people inside accountable, we're holding the Harris Theater accountable. Okay, because if you know, they're the ones who are supporting this by letting this happen. So here's Layla Abdurrazzaq.
Hi, thanks everyone for coming. I'm not gonna like read this. We have this letter. Ooh, okay.
Okay, never mind.
Thanks. We have this letter that we wrote to the Harris Theater. I'm not gonna read it verbatim because that's kind of boring.
Can you move up a little bit?
What?
Move up.
Move up?
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
But just to let you know kind of what our message is to them. We came together as a group of activists, organizers, artists, cultural workers, people from all over Chicago, Palestinian-led coalition. We represent a multitude of groups working here in the city, and we just wanted to let Harris Theater know that by hosting Batsheva here today, they're violating the 2004 call by Palestinian civil society to boycott Israeli arts and culture institutions that do not that are complicit in Israel's occupation of Palestine. They're backed by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They've been called one of the best known global ambassadors of Israeli culture by the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So they're being used very intentionally by the ministry as kind of like a de facto cultural ambassador. And the fact that they're participating and cooperating with this means that they are knowingly participating in the whitewashing of Israel's crimes, including you know, it's important to note that like the occupation of Palestine impacts every single aspect of Palestinian life, and that includes art and culture. So they can't stand there and say they're some kind of that Israel's some kind of global ambassador or a global representative of, like, I don't know, progressive art and culture and all this kind of bullshit, when we know that they're repressing Palestinian art and cultural life. There's Palestinian artists who have not been allowed to travel, who cannot travel freely to go perform, and like there's actors from the Freedom Theater are arrested all the time without charge, held under administrative detention. There's a Palestinian circus artist currently being held under administrative detention, which means that the person's arrested without charge and held indefinitely, and this can go on for years. He's still being held for unspecified illegal activities. What does he do? He's a circus artist, and he works with disabled children in Palestine, and he's making a huge impact on his community. They don't like those kinds of people. They don't like arts institutions that challenge the status quo or that create political work. The Israeli Minister of Culture has defunded Palestinian theaters that create political work, that are trying to create work within Israel. And I, as an artist, I wrote a graphic novel, and I've been invited to Palestine, and every time I go, I'm interrogated and held for hours. I cannot travel freely as a Palestinian artist. If I want to go back to my country and share my work with my people living there. It's like a huge, like every time I go, I don't know if it'll be my last time. I don't know if I will be let in again, and regardless, I'm held and interrogated for hours. So like, Palestinian artists do not have the same types of freedom of movement and sharing their work and access to arts institutions in the way that Israeli artists do. I also just want to note that actually, like, this was pretty impactful today. Don't, like, I know it's like cold and everybody was like chanting for like an hour, but don't underestimate the impact. There was somebody who came up to us and was like, "Oh, thank you for being here. I exchanged my ticket." I told them I didn't want to see the show, and I exchanged my ticket. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you for exchanging your ticket. That was awesome. There are other people I spoke to. There were other people I spoke to just like on the street who were like, "Well, we bought tickets, but we're really concerned. Like, we didn't know. Like, we tried to look up, you know, maybe they knew or maybe they didn't know. But like, even if they went into the show, they went into the show knowing something about Israel. They went into the show knowing something and with some literature in their hands. And this can be a starting point for people to always learn more. So like, thank you all for being here. It does make an impact. Even like if a few people change their mind or a few people learn something new, we're successful today. So thank you all for coming out and supporting the boycott and supporting the academic and cultural boycott of Israel.
Oh, by the way, I just want to make a quick announcement. Is Brad Schneider did win his congressional seat. So, but I also want to make it clear.
Give him hell. Give him hell.
Yes, give him hell. So I think, as you know, for those of you who are not fans of protesting, or if you know someone who's not a fan of protesting, we have his office number, and we could leave voice messages as well to his office saying, you know, we seen you here, we know your stance on, you know, on Palestinians, and you know, we could give him hell that way. Just letting his office know that we saw you and you ignored us when we were asking you questions. So remember that. My data went low, but you can follow me. Okay, I just want to give a quick shout out again to all the organizers. Remember, it was a collective of organizers, artists. Shout out to Layla for making the zine. Layla made the zine and she gave it to folks, and some of them didn't read them inside, but when they open it up at home, they're gonna be like, "Oh darn." But yeah, shout out to USPCN, the Free People's Art Collective, For the People's Art Collective, FTP. Shout out to SJP, and shout out to all of you for coming out. All right.
I figured all those people in refugee